Mosley then, they told Punk, okay, well, if you're going to go, can you do an angle? And I guess they brought the whole, you go on and tell people, I got to go, I have a concussion. And then Punk just said, that's stupid, I'm not going to do it.
Right. You gotta keep the extra ass.
Oh, you figured he might have gone out, just yelling at Creator's face and telling Vince McMahon, I'm going home. And here's Tyler.
I think it's official now that CM Punk is probably not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, so maybe we should change the
totally change that.
So maybe
we should probably change that intro now to not mention his name all over.
We'll just have it going
once I get more time. Yeah.
Yes.
We should maybe change it up maybe a bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Does that work? Yes.
But yeah, of course, the Raw benefited, I guess, or WWE benefited from Raw not being in Chicago this past week instead.
Though I still think they own that Chicago crowd.
Yeah. And
especially, actually, they bring this up last week, I believe, but especially when Daniel Bryan said, we're going to hijack this episode.
Yeah.
The crowd not realizing that WWE actually hijacked the crowd.
Yeah.
By even acknowledging that.
Yeah. And, nevertheless, I mean, the CM Punk chants were lower this, on Raw this past week.
It wasn't lower, Tyler. They weren't there.
Yeah, they were barely, there wasn't one. I didn't really recall any at all,
Because nothing happened.
Yeah. So
it might be because it was a Memphis or anything there. I look at it as fans finally moved on. Last week was their wake-up call now. This is not a storyline. It's not a gimmick. He's probably done with wrestling in general.
Yeah.
He's gone. So time for us to move on now as fans.
Right.
I'll still watch his old crap. I don't care.
So yeah, but I think if anything, CM Punk's probably got to be a little proud that now Daniel Bryan, and we hinted this on last week's show. We talked about this, how Daniel Bryan,
and Corey said I was insane for bringing that up.
Well, I said it was insane because I didn't think that he would go. A shocker. They proved me wrong.
Yeah.
What a shock.
Yeah. But certainly. So now I'm pretty sure we're convinced that Daniel Bryan is going to beat Triple H, and Triple H has nothing really to gain out of beating Daniel Bryan.
I don't know.
Other than burying another guy again.
I'm curious. Right. I don't know. I'm curious how they're going to do this though. Maybe to add more drama to Mania.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Bryan wins by DQ. Maybe Triple H comes in and nails him with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you wonder,
they can do this whole I guess Bryan's not going to make it to the main event. He won the match. He's not making it to the main event then.
Yeah.
And just when fans think it's over, I guess he comes down, limping down the ring, and it's a triple threat match. So he doesn't need to take that many bumps.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'll be curious there. I mean, it's not the first time a wrestler would be working double duty at Mania. I mean, Bret Hart did it in WrestleMania 10, and you can kind of say Hulk Hogan did it in WrestleMania 9. He worked in a tag team match, and then he wrestled Yokozuna for about a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if Bryan would do double duty, but I think if Daniel Bryan would wrestle, I think it would go longer than Bret Hart did, and definitely longer than Hulk Hogan did in WrestleMania 9. I mean, I guess he'd be the longest as far as lengthwise in total matches, maybe in the history of Mania.
Yeah. I mean, the one against Triple H, I would think, probably wouldn't go beyond 20 minutes. And, then put him in the triple threat match, and like we said, they could work around that. Daniel Bryan could be out, and that's how they always seem to do that with triple threat matches now.
I mean, at the very
have him get RKO'd and Batista bomb, and then have him knocked out
through the announce table, just like kind of out of it for a while.
At the very least, your WWE has made this card very intriguing.
Yeah.
They definitely have increased their subscription to the network to watch the pay-per-view.
Right.
Which puts more pressure on them because they got to really make sure that this thing doesn't
belly up,
crap over the place during Mania, because that's bad publicity right there.
Right.
But I think they did a great job. I think right now this card's stronger than 29. Even if you didn't have Bryan in the main event, or even teased them to be in the title match, you would have Bryan, Triple H. Bray and Cena's feud, I think, is going to be a very interesting one. I think Lesnar and Taker could be interesting as well.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
And even Rey or Batista, even though those guys were going to have who wouldn't want to see the crowd crap on both of those guys? Guys, it'd be entertaining, I think.
But I guess I guess the point is that they kind of had to throw in this element of Daniel Bryan because
I mean, let's be fair here. Well, let's be fair here too. I mean, this wasn't like this was their plan all along. Their
Right,
plan all along
exactly.
was, despite what two stupid podcasters out there still claiming that this was the plan all along from this standpoint. If it was, it's the most. Well, I don't know. Let's flash back here for a moment here. When Bryan was part of the Wyatt family,
yeah,
this is supposed to be a lengthy time for him essentially.
yeah,
It wasn't until ESPN of all channels had showed a Michigan State basketball game, and there was this I forget who the player was, but Michigan State football player. They were there honoring the Michigan State football team who won the Rose Bowl that year.
yeah.
And he got the whole arena to do the yes chant because he's a wrestling fan.
Right.
And you see this whole Michigan State arena in basketball doing it, and it looks amazing. Well, he does in any arena when you got everybody doing it, which is why Mania is going to look probably more amazing because that's when you got the hardcore fans.
Right.
So then WWE essentially says, okay, we're going to turn it on. We're going to have him leave the Wyatt family a lot earlier than we originally had planned. Right. And at one point, I think it was going to be post-Mania until he was going to get kicked out.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that too.
But so then he gets kicked out. But at that stage, I think the plan was still maybe him versus Sheamus. Sheamus maybe could be a heel. I mean, technically, Sheamus got hurt due to Bryan.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, but the Money in the Bank, Bryan hurt Sheamus. You can also play off the whole 10-second match they had at WrestleMania 28. I mean, at 28.
Well, that was their intent. Was
there was that, and then WrestleMania, then the Royal Rumble happened. Batista didn't come back. He wasn't loved. Punk was still going to face Triple H supposedly. Get screwed into that match. Batista wins. Crowd boos. Then Punk leaves, and then I guess they throw Bryan essentially into the Triple H feud.
Yeah.
But it still feels like they're back. They were backing essentially Batista still. They were still, I guess, assuming that okay, well, it's one crowd. Yeah. The Royal Rumble was one crowd. It wasn't like this is going to happen every week. Then it starts happening every week, every show he's on. Yeah. Even at the Elimination Chamber, where of all people, Alberto Del Rio is so over as a babyface, more so than when he was originally a babyface. Yeah. And I think when the company finally decided to insert Bryan, at least storyline wise, it was maybe during his Batista's promo during SmackDown. Yeah. I mean, probably it might have been that Raw maybe, because even I think that whole promo he cut with Orton and everything was kind of heelish too. I mean, he even did the whole deal with it then, but clearly his first heel promo was that SmackDown. But I think during that week was when they finally decided they were going to insert Bryan. Just when to officially announce it was going to be the interesting part then.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like this has been one of the most, I think internally, last second decisions they've made for a main event.
Right.
I might be wrong here, but I don't remember them ever changing it this fast due to crowd reactions and so on.
Yeah. Normally it was already set in stone,
Now,
at least by
now
what
mid-March, they throw they officially throw that element in.
Now, what probably screwed this whole up thing, as far as Batista went, you got to blame The Rock maybe partly a bit here. I think when you have 3 straight Manias featured, who the feature attraction is this part-time guy, and pretty much after 29, you kind of have this maybe bad taste in people's mouth towards, one individual, maybe towards part-timers in general now. Yeah. And all of a sudden, here comes Batista out of nowhere right before Royal Rumble, and he just comes in there and wins it. And I think that just brought maybe the last bad taste in somebody's mouth. And
well, that could have been a bunch of factors. Though.
I think that, yeah.
But I definitely think The Rock can definitely be contributed to why Batista.
Yeah, but there's also other stuff. If you think about it, you had Batista shit can the entire locker room. Now, if you're a fan, you're really going to accept a part-timer who hasn't been around and accept him. The other thing is also probably actually seeing him perform and how he had slopped up on his first return. Yeah. That added to it. I'm not saying the Rock thing wasn't there. That is an element. But there is more than one. It's not like it was all The Rock.
That and people were waiting for Daniel Bryan to come out.
Well, that's the other thing. It was all mixed in with all these different elements that finally culminated in this one.
I mean, I guess you can go to 29. There were a lot of people, I guess, bitching about Rock Cena again. But not... The reaction in an arena was not negative to the point where it convinced the writing
Yeah.
staff to maybe, I don't know, add CM Punk into the
Right.
mix.
Yeah.
That shows you there's between that right there. I mean, because let's face it, Punk can make the argument essentially that he was the top, the guy who maybe should have been inserted maybe into the main event and got his spot taken away. But at the same time, there was a loud internet presence of people who had that sympathy. But I didn't hear any of those people boo when the Rock Cena promos for the 29.
Yeah.
I didn't hear them crap on rocking in arenas or anything there.
Right. Yeah.
So, I get either it wasn't the negativity wasn't as loud, or even as big as people originally thought. Because now I think for Bryan, I don't care what people say. This is not a small internet conglomerate anymore, or between hardcore wrestling fans. This is
arenas.
This is pretty much an entire arena that
responding to the yes chants. Yeah,
doing the yes. Is it the yes chants? Was it? I was it just the fact that. Well, I think the other reason too is that look, I think for Punk, people also thought sour grapes on his part maybe last year. The guy also had the WWE Championship for over a year.
Yeah,
unheard of in this kind of decade of wrestling.
Right, yeah.
So and then I say he starts bitching about how he's not in the main event now. It's like, okay, wait a minute, we just gave you this massive title reign, despite technically ratings going down, technically pay-per-view buys are going down.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying it's all Punk's fault there, but when you're the champ, you gotta you take blame here because your face is on the cover of these posters here, and you are being advertised. Yeah. So I mean, looking at there, there's similarities there, but I think it was finally I just think that you got to use it's pretty much The Rock, and I think also the rise of Daniel Bryan definitely contributed to the fact that I think people just thought this kid worked so hard. He's never had that one. He's never that victory, Willie. That celebration yet. Yeah. Right. He's long due for one.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it did happen at SummerSlam. Happened short lived.
Right.
It never happened during the Orton feud. So I guess the difference between Bryan and Punk is that look, Punk at least had the belt for over a year. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying Bryan needs to have the belt for over a year to make the fans happy. Honestly, he might just have it for maybe a month or 2 months, and then Batista's going to just beat him for the belt.
Yeah.
Because if that's my guess right now, I'm going to go Bryan wins at Mania, but Batista's going to get that belt eventually. That's something that's going to be handed to him eventually.
Yeah, then of course there's Lesnar who wants a title shot or something down the road.
Not happening with Lesnar.
I mean, if
it does, it's happening around Mania season.
Next year.
Maybe. Yeah, next year maybe. But that's even a long stretch, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Batista makes sense because Batista's going to be kind of a full-time worker for. Yeah. And that's the thing. Maybe part-time's even coming insult to Batista here. He's working already more. He's already worked more dates than The Rock has done altogether his last 3 years at WWE. I mean,
well,
that's kind of an insult to Dave Batista now, calling him a part-timer.
Well, I think it's they viewed him as a part-timer in the sense that he had been gone for so many years and he ups and comes back. Like so many have done before. But they already know at some point, sometime he's going to leave again. That's why they view it as a part-timer.
That and The Rock was more of a pay-per-view wrestler only. Or draw, or etc. And I guess, they don't really see Batista as doing that. They're having him wrestle, on a frequent basis now on Raw. And so, I guess that's
I mean, like I said, I think Batista will turn babyface eventually. I think people are going to start getting behind his heel character like they did.
Yeah,
his last heel character. It gets to the point you just start performing to the point where they hate you, and then you do so well as a bad guy, and they like you again.
As long as he doesn't react to the crowd.
No, but he's a heel. He's supposed to react to the crowd.
No, but I meant off camera when he's doing his bitchy moments. If he doesn't do that, he will then become a face. But if he keeps doing that, you're not going to see him end as a face. He'll end as a heel.
I don't know. I mean, like I say,
he'll just say,
I don't know. I mean,
quit.
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to be in the wheelchair like he did the last time? Because that was hilarious the last time.
Yeah.
He was in this wheelchair, pitching him only in the ring. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was probably the most entertaining thing he ever was, cutting promos essentially. And that's maybe the reason why people like him as a heel bearing a face. I think he was way more entertaining as a heel than a baby face.
Yeah.
Wearing no sunglasses, coming out almost looking like a complete douchebag, essentially.
Yeah, and he was a face for a long time, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He was over.
And then towards the end they turned him heel, and I guess
Well, if you're going
people
out,
want more heel.
Tyler, if you're going
People
out,
want more
I think it
heel.
also to do with that he was going out.
He was going out, yeah.
And if you're going out, you're not going out as a top babyface. You're going out as the bad guy. Just like when Jericho left in like 2005.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a babyface most of a while now, and then he turned heel all of a sudden against John Cena.
Yeah.
You don't go out as a babyface. You're leaving as a heel.
Didn't he do that again when he came back and he made that suit wearing sophisticated Jericho after his Y2J return, after that whole encryption code?
Yeah.
You had that as a face for a little while, and then he changed and went over to a heel, and then that's where he left again, as that heel.
Why? Well, you can actually follow that as an example. The problem there was that Jericho, I think, pretty much turned heel when he came back that one time for the Save Us gimmick was essentially because he got like no reaction.
Yeah.
People didn't know who the hell this guy was. As crazy as it was, he was only going 2 years from WWE. Granted, he cut his hair. I mean, and he was still acting like the Y2J Jericho. And I think he missed. I think at that point the audience was starting to shift.
Yeah.
A lot of people maybe grew up with Jericho were not watching the product anymore.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of the young fan bases who didn't even know who the guy was.
Yeah.
So that phone. But anyway, no, I mean, but I guess going back to wrap this all up here, I think that this has just been I'd say interesting road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
This wasn't the plan to begin with, like what two other podcasters out there say, who have a lot more viewers.
You guys.
But no, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll just sum it up there. It's just that I think that Mania is. I think WrestleMania 30 is going to be better than WrestleMania 29.
Yeah,
Even if they didn't even make
29 was a it's safe to say that was a disappointment that a lot of people saw coming.
Even if they didn't make this change, because I would have been fine if it just would have been Bryan Triple H.
Yeah.
You didn't even need to have him be in the main event, really, because at that point he's still in a higher card than what it would have been if Punk did it.
Right. Yeah.
And no, you also probably throw that there. Punk probably. Some credit goes to Punk here, because if he did leave and create this controversy in the writing staff, they creative there, Bryan would not have been elevated so high in the card to Mania, essentially.
Like I said earlier, he's probably a little happy for Daniel Bryan right now. You know?
Well, he pretty much took Punk's spot. Punk, for a while, I think, was number 2. I could make the argument Bryan was technically number 2 babyface, and at one point, when John left, the number 1 babyface in Raw. Yeah. Was it Punk?
Right.
Punk, I think, would go down to number 3 at this point here, but...
Yeah, well, don't...
By
that point in time, that was also when he was just basically doing what the writers said and just went out there and did it.
Right.
That's it. It wasn't like it was Punk. We were looking at
Paul Heyman.
A whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. A corporate Punk, just not actually corporate.
Yeah.
I don't care what his excuse is, Corey. I'm just saying there he wasn't the number 2 babyface anymore.
Right. Yeah.
He might have been number 3 because Bryan was way more higher than Punk was.
By that point in time, he really cared. I think that was at the point in time where he was already debating about just not coming back.
Well, like I said,
he just did it sooner than waiting for his contract. He was just like, "I'm finally done. Screw you guys. I'm going home."
Well, but again, at the same time, there maybe that kind of works better for WWE too. Maybe Bryan, because Bryan's different worker than Punk is. Bryan kind of keeps quiet for a bit. He kind of is a very calm guy to work with. Opposite than what Punk I've been hearing. Can get loud, annoying, bitchy on occasions. I like the guy's performance there, but I feel like if I met this guy in real life, I'd hate him if I didn't even know he was a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
That's just I had that kind of feeling. There's been stories.
Well, the question though is, Wayne, are you talking about meeting him as just meeting him out in a regular spot for a friendly conversation, or are you talking about meeting him after working or at work as Phil Brooks?
Corey, I'm just saying,
I think his at work mentality is probably different than him at home mentality.
Well, if at work is meeting him maybe at the grocery store in Chicago,
that is,
and I just happened to cross by him and he tells me to fuck off. I mean, crazy fam, you met a stranger like that. Would you like him after that?
Yeah.
Because that's supposed to be what Punk does sometimes in public places. Like, great, maybe because he doesn't want to be bugged in public. That's fine. I'd say go to a less populated area of the country then. Yeah. Edge has the right idea. Go up into the mountain somewhere in West Virginia. Nobody's going to bother you there.
West Virginia? was Tennessee.
Okay, Tennessee. The point is, it's some southern rural area where no one lives around anywhere.
Yeah.
Not Chicago, Illinois, one of the most populated cities in the United
He's
States.
home to
He's-
Chicago, so he loves it. What do you want?
Well, you can't get both ways.
Well, there's a difference, Wayne. Edge doesn't appear to be a very big outdoorsy person. Edge loves outdoors. There's a difference between CM Punk and Edge.
Well, Punk sounds like he wants everything he wants in the world, and you don't get always what you want. But you get what you need sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So the,
You went from being like this big advocate and fan of CM Punk to now you basically bitch and moan about him all the
I'm
time.
not bitching and moaning about him, Clay.
Oh my gosh, you complained about Hulk Hogan already before. And then also when he comes back, you're like, I love you, Hulk. You're my best friend. Good Lord.
I hated him on TNA because
I feel like you were like me with the whole Patriots for crying out loud. Bandwagoning on them, you're bandwagoning any wrestler that comes back.
I'm so glad that you made that you were bandwagoning on the New England Patriots all those years. Took a while
And you
to
know
do
what?
that.
I loved every moment because I got to say screw you multiple times and win stuff. While you were just like, yeah.
Yeah, called team loyalty, Corey.
How about that basketball time when I went through and I went all the way predicting to the Final Four as an accurate for that March Madness.
You mean the 1 year when there was like no upsets in the NCAA tournament?
Yep.
And this guy picked all the high seeds?
And I
Yeah.
pissed him off, and it worked.
Doesn't happen every year. Guarantee was.
I won money out of it. What do you care?
I
Other
mean,
than the fact you got pissy. You're like,
well, the fact that Corey remembers that and I don't means that this has been in his mind a lot more than me.
No, I remember it because that was the moment you got really pissy about it. You're like, I'm a sportsman.
Yeah. But anyways, getting back to
Let's get back to the show here.
wrestling talk.
Someone's here trying to stay professional here. And,
Well, none of
Not
us
getting
got
personal.
to the show.
Not
We weren't
getting
even
personal.
at the actual show. We were talking about
Well, I guess
Bryan
it's-
going to Mania.
well, I guess it's somebody was talking about.
How about we go on to the show then? Goat face.
Okay, well then it's going. I will stay professional here, and I will move on to the Hulk Hogan Battle Royal announcement. Let's just start from the beginning, anyway.
Right. Yeah. So.
Tyler. Come
So
on.
what are you? What are you? So yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So essentially now, all right. So we mentioned earlier that I think before the show,
Oh yeah,
Now,
it was all
Biggie
the
Langston's in it. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess no Intercontinental Championship defense.
Ryback's in it, so there you go,
Ryback.
Tyler.
Oh,
He
good
gets a spot now.
Yeah.
And Curtis
Which,
Axel was in
that's
it.
not a surprise.
Curtis
yeah.
Axel suppose he's in it too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be probably all the low guys.
Yeah. Well, a way to get a bunch of these guys
Kofi
involved that they don't
You
know
want
what
me?
they're doing.
You want me to make a prediction? Who's going to win the first Andre the Giant trophy? I guess it's
Biggie
going to be
Langston.
no Big Show. It's a giant. It's a trophy dedicated
That's
to the
true,
Giant.
yeah.
Yeah, go to the Giant.
Please
That's a good
don't.
point.
It feels like they're just saying it up for him.
Please, Big Show, don't do it. Don't
I
do
agree.
it.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
ever do it.
yeah. I mean,
You just said the trophy was pointless anyway.
Yeah, but that will really make it pointless. Let's put a giant with our giant trophy, representing a giant.
As opposed to somebody. Well, let's be fair. You can say Biggie all you want there, but if he's not going to have an Intercontinental title match, that already shows you where
Yeah.
the company ranks that belt. And
yeah, that's yeah.
well, Biggie, you're not going to be defending your
Yeah.
belt this year, WrestleMania. I got a better idea. You're going to be defending in this made-up trophy that has no value
Heck, we don't even know
whatsoever.
if the United States title will.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
I'd be
end up getting
shocked.
thrown in there, too.
Then again, they're still going to even be splitting up now.
Yeah, I mean,
They're like buddies now.
now they
Oh,
win.
yeah.
Yeah. Now they're back on, the winning track.
I mean, I'm kind of happy I kind of want to split up in that, but some of your brothers said, who's got to even split them up? They're
Yeah.
three strong individuals. Maybe they can go single without even splitting up.
Yeah.
Though I'm still going for split up eventually. I think they're just waiting
Yeah,
to the last second.
yeah.
Maybe they'll just
It's
do it
just-
at Mania.
Yeah.
How?
And then-
I don't know. But they're
and then
gonna
maybe
Well, they can't do it
then
against
maybe
the Wyatts, because
Well, there is a photo leaked online of apparently I think it was at the SmackDown taping, and apparently they stole some of their Wyatt. It shows Roman Reigns sitting in Bray's rocking chair, and he has like the lantern, and it has Seth Rollins wearing Eric Rowan's sheet mask, and Dean Ambrose just like sitting behind it, like kind of like doing like the Luke Harper stare over Roman.
so what? You're gonna say Bray Wyatt's gonna do double duty at Mania too?
No, but what's Luke Harper and Eric Rowan going to do? Maybe have a tag team match there. And then you still got Ambrose there who might face somebody to defend that belt.
Yeah. I don't
I
know. I mean, it's so rare that they have them defended. You don't know.
well,
That
Who
or Bray
knows?
Wyatt's doing double duty.
they're not going to have Bray Wyatt double duty. I don't know. I guess going to the Battle Royal, how hilarious was that John Cena even dared to throw his name in as a participant in this Battle Royal?
Yeah.
Well, I got nothing to do for Mania, and I'm a main event guy. I am the man, so I'm going to be entering in this Battle Royal that has no purpose whatsoever.
Yeah.
Except to give a lot of people some paychecks that they never usually get.
Give him some
I mean, I
time.
guess it puts this match over as important.
Yeah.
If the top guy wants to be in it, then exit out of it a few minutes later. I don't know. I'm just going Big Show. I think that just makes sense for the first one.
That seems like a good
Consider
prediction.
the fact that this giant is wrestler is the trophy essentially.
I hope you're wrong. I really hope you do.
But I don't know. We'll see what the other people feel. Maybe Big Show won't even be in it. I'm just saying, Battle Royals. I mean,
if they put it to I mean,
and you think Big Show will at least be on the card for WrestleMania?
Yeah. So
I mean,
he just tagged with Daniel Bryan the other night.
Exactly.
So,
He's clearly been in the main event for it. In fact, I think he faces Kane on SmackDown. Corporate Kane.
Corporate Kane. That's right. Yeah. So and there's another guy. Kane. You wonder if they throw him in the Battle Royal too.
Corporate Kane.
Yeah.
Corporate Kane.
Good old Uncle Fester Kane right over there.
Have a place for him at WrestleMania. I don't know. But yeah. Amongst other things, another match with Sheamus and Christian, but this time with the fans getting to choose, and of course they chose a Memphis
street fight. Yeah.
Street fight or whatever. Yeah.
Ends with they like to use that drum set.
The bass.
Weapon, yes.
Yeah.
The bass drum. Yeah.
You got the bass drum out. Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
Sheamus just destroying that drum.
Yeah.
And shoving his foot also in Christian. That's kind of a dangerous spot too. I mean, Sheamus could have. He's got his leg caught in that. Yeah, in the drum, and who knows what he might have torn. Maybe that's not supposed to be happening on a basis. Right, but no, I mean, they crowd respected them. It was a brawl.
No, no random chance against Sheamus this time.
No.
So I guess we'll see how they are at Mania.
Yes.
I mean, I'm curious what Sheamus is going to do for Mania now. I mean, I keep saying Christian feud, but he just beat Christian in 2 straight matches.
Yeah,
I mean, how long does Christian have to lose to Sheamus until they finally just move on?
Maybe
finally,
those two are getting thrown into the Battle Royal.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's what I said there too. I mean, maybe
it's a 30-man Battle Royal. It's going to involve 30 people.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the roster recently? Yeah. That's basically everybody.
Everybody who's not.
There might be some NXT guys maybe that are making some appearances then.
Yeah, that's
Bo Dallas.
Adam Rose.
Oh no. No.
I don't know. I mean, there was a rumor about having Adrian Neville defend his NXT championship at WrestleMania maybe.
That would be a first.
Try to showcase some main event NXT guys a chance to give them. Also put that belt over kind of.
Because there's already not too many belts being defended.
Yeah.
By the looks of it anyway, so.
No, I mean, but I can see like Swagger or Cesaro get thrown in the Battle Royal. I mean, that's a small feud there, but I don't think those guys are going to have a one-on-one contest. I mean, but you can easily throw them in the Battle Royal and they can screw each other over.
Right, yeah.
I mean, that just furthers a feud there until the next pay-per-view or whenever they start to finally
Extreme Rules.
Have these guys split up finally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, Brock Lesnar wasn't there, I guess, but
Paul Heyman was.
Had
the audacity
to know
the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Then started crying for some reason.
Yeah, but
I thought it was pretty good. I mean,
yeah. I mean, and I guess we only got a couple. I'm looking at the calendar here. I mean, we got, I guess, 3 Raws before WrestleMania.
Yep, 3 Raws.
Yeah. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's still bound to be a couple more Brock Lesnar appearances and Undertaker,
2 more. So. He's not on next week's show either.
Right. So I guess the last 2 and.
Yep.
And then that'll bring us to WrestleMania, and obviously that's one of the highlight matches on the card. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean there wasn't a whole lot else coming.
We're not going to talk about the Daniel Bryan taking over the Raw temporarily.
Yeah, well,
was that another let's kind of pick on the crowd kind of deal.
Yeah,
have some guys come in and pretend to hijack. Let me be fair. There were some. I don't know how many, but I did notice the sign guy from WWE was one of the guys in the ring.
Oh yeah.
Well, Tyler, you remember he was on Deal or No Deal
a long time. I remember.
He has like that red cap. I mean, he's a very recognizable guy. He was one of the individuals in the ring. So
that's when like John Cena and Bobby Lashley appeared on that. That.
Yeah.
Of course, Bobby Lashley actually returning to TNA.
Yeah, with like 500 people in attendance in this arena.
Yeah.
Have you seen the photos of how empty that arena
Yeah,
was?
Well, yeah, because that's
So.
when also Randy Orton and Edge interrupted. Those
Yeah,
were two,
that's right,
Those
that's
were
right,
two to
they-
interrupt the sign guy, and then you had John Cena's music hit, and here came John Cena, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
No, but
Cena was like dressed in normal attire, and then
so was Bobby.
Lashley was all dressed up in a suit.
Dude, he was in a suit.
Where Cena was like, dressed up in his typical wrestling attire.
I wear this every day, kids.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. I remember when they tried to cover up the fact that Bobby Lashley doesn't have a great mic skills was that he's a soft-spoken guy, but he was talking to in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so how's this guy going to be the main eventer again? Because I think you got to do these promos and promotional stuff, and you got to talk.
Yeah, I mean,
do you remember?
Unless they're gonna put a Paul Heyman with him, but
that's the thing there too. I'm like,
then
put a manager then with him at least then.
But
if you could do that, then you got to turn him heel because face managers don't really work out that well. I don't think.
Yeah, and then
I don't even know that.
And then of course that would have furthered the Brock Lesnar comparisons, and that
definitely would have Paul Heyman. Yeah, definitely.
That Lashley was sort of getting at that time, anyways. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess if it it even matters that Lashley returns to TNA but not WWE. So.
No, but I mean
what were they going to have him do if he returned to WWE?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Actually, I remember
he wasn't even that big of a star to begin with, so it's not. If he's expecting
he left too soon from.
I mean, the only thing I'd say is have him fight Brock Lesnar. That'd be interesting. Two big guys. Here, come fight. Man.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to come in and fight Brock Lesnar. He's going to come in and he's going to.
Yeah.
They're going to pretend like this guy. They're going to
pretend
like this guy never even worked with the company before. Essentially.
Yeah.
He might not even go by Bobby Lashley anymore. He might go by some different name. Maybe
I mean, it was like 6 years or so now since he. So.
We're going with the Tenzai route. Everybody.
Oh, he's a commentator now. And I think I think he's just called Albert T now on commentating now. So he's going by his real name Albert again now.
Yeah.
So, what about his buddy Brodus Clay?
I don't know what happened to Brodus. I mean, one minute he's calling himself the main event player, and now he's not featured on Raw, and then he's vanished. I mean,
all we have now is the Funkadactyls, which makes no sense. The Funkadactyls came out about that whole funk thing.
Yeah.
So they have no Tongues of Funk, so all we got left is the Funkadactyls that just do their own thing.
I don't know. I mean, Xavier Woods was coming out to that song too. Kind of, I think remember JBL talking about it. It's like, man, Xavier Woods get over. At least you could do is steal a theme song from a better performer than Brodus Clay or something like that.
Yeah.
But even Xavier Woods has gone AWOL. I think he went back to NXT. But then I didn't even know why they even called him up to begin with, because all they did was they gave him a cheesy mustache, and they paired him with R-Truth, who barely had TV time to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we went from the crazy heel psycho R-Truth to the funny crazy psycho R-Truth to the still psycho R-Truth that doesn't show up. Basically, probably because the gimmick got old.
As long as he's not talking to an imaginary invisible person, I think we're good. Yeah,
Jimmy.
I hated that gimmick.
Little Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm fond of him yelling at little kids in the front row. That actually is an entertaining gimmick. But having this imaginary person walking around with you doesn't scream main event there.
I still remember the Raw where it was Christian, The Miz, and R-Truth all together in the ring. And they were yelling, and he was like, "Really? Really?" And then Christian was like, "Really? Really? Really?" And that was really, really, really back and forth. And all of a sudden Christian was like, Riley, Randy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Johnny.
I don't know. I thought Daniel Bryan had the funniest moment. He punted little Jimmy out of the ring. And R-Truth was flipping out and Dynamite was like, "I'm insane. You're talking to an invisible man."
Yeah. Yeah.
But, no, I mean, obviously, I think it was WWE's way of making fun of the fan base again, kind of a bit. Having these fans of Daniel Bryan come in here and hijack a Raw.
Yeah.
And poor Michael Cole. It wasn't the first time Raw was occupied temporarily.
Yeah.
Might have been the first time made by quote-unquote fans, but I believe The Rock had the whole roster do it one time. Ironically, to Triple H and Stephanie again. It was done, I think, when they just fired Mick Foley, and he had these demands.
Yeah.
And the entire roster was pretty much outside, and then he goes straight to the DX locker room, and you see Triple H and Stephanie, and you have like Road Dogg and him going, "So you guys go after, right?" So they go out there and they just meet their demands essentially, which is I think Mick Foley comes back and they give him like a title shot against Triple H because he was the champion at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much it was a copycat if you think about it. I mean, except for that Triple H definitely weren't cooperating right away. First they try to send those 2 security guards.
Yeah.
And then we just say screw this and they probably walk out.
Development guys.
Then poor Damien Sandow has to go out there,
Oh my god.
get his little TV time there.
Yes, everybody. I won the Money in the Bank, cashed it in, and did nothing after that.
Yeah,
Right,
but
yeah.
no, okay, then he just refuses.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I thought it was great Triple H's emotion there. He started losing it then,
Yeah.
which is not good news for Daniel Bryan because when you have a crazy Triple H now, that means sledgehammer time
Yeah.
usually.
You're right. Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully he didn't regret his decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, but I don't know, it was unique. I was curious there, like how they were gonna do that there. Like how was Bryan gonna refuse not to apologize and still demand
Yeah.
Triple H? And all of a sudden, here comes these people wearing these Daniel Bryan t-shirts. Just,
Yeah.
And first, it doesn't look like that much when they go to the commercial. Then all of a sudden, it's like they're covering the entire
Right,
area.
Yeah.
And they start to wonder, okay, all these local guys. I mean, obviously, I know the sign guy was one
Sign
of them.
guy,
And he's an
yeah.
actual fan.
He goes to a lot of you
And
guys.
he's probably was honored to do it. So I'm curious if there were any other actual fans that they just had picked out of the audience to say, okay, you want to be part of this segment quick?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. But
If they had one, there has to be maybe more because
Follow it on Twitter.
I doubt that was all NXT guys and all development guys.
Follow it on Twitter. Tell you the answer.
yeah.
Go tweet about it.
But no, I mean, so there was that. Bryan won, and Raw going to the post show ended with Bryan walking out the winner. And
Yeah.
I say post show because I got the network, of course, this week. And
Yeah. Yeah. Which I guess we were gonna get to talking about.
the network, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else we got to talk about? There's nothing.
Well, okay, well, got on the network, obviously. Obviously, how the network actually is a very simple concept they have. You either can pick a show and watch that. You can go to the schedule and see what their schedule is,
Yeah.
or you can search for a certain pay per view or wrestler that you just want to see their list of videos.
Yeah.
Or you can just stay on the main page, which is just their live stream feed, which just follows a usual schedule, and that includes pay per view shows, specials, the original programming usually. I don't know. I saw the WrestleMania Rewind. At least the first two. First one was the WrestleMania 1 main event. Second one was the WrestleMania 3. The one last night, which was the new one, was the WrestleMania 14 main event between Austin and Michaels. I don't know. It's pretty good. I mean, it's they're trying to go with the whole behind the scenes, how they planned these things. Like, I don't know. They were talking about how Sean and I guess it was the Sean and Steve Austin one that, the whole rumor about how Sean was so hard to work with at this time because of his bad back and all that he might have actually refused to go wrestle, which led to the supposedly story where Undertaker was threatening to beat up Shawn Michaels if he didn't go out to the ring, and Taker was going to drag and beat up Shawn Michaels out to the ring and just force him to wrestle Steve Austin then. But I mean, like I said, it brings up that kind of stuff, but I feel like it also brings up kind of just storyline elements too. Like, I don't know, they brought the whole DX deal and how they were. And how Mike Tyson was, working with DX and might screw Austin essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a combination of reality. I like that. It's almost like a reality kind of like show reality, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. The countdown show is a pretty basic countdown show, and nothing really that new or original to it. Obviously, there's no Legends House yet. That's actually what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But
That's a reality show.
yeah, that's a reality show. But I'm actually looking forward to that more than having 8 old farts hanging out in one home in one house and they do crazy stuff. I think it's highly entertaining. But no, I mean there's that,
As
and
long as they don't die.
obviously I caught up on the last NXT, which I think is going to be my favorite show, just to watch these development guys and.
Yeah.
This NXT was special because I just saw what I think is the greatest wrestling entrance in the history of
No,
wrestling
it is
entertainment.
not. If you want to say it's the most comical, go right ahead, but it's not the greatest.
Adam Rose.
No. Whatever you do, fans,
Obviously,
do not look it up.
I-
Do not look it up. You
I-
will burn your eyes out.
Obviously, NXT, I think they're doing a great job at separating some of these guys, but
I'll give you that much.
they're
but
doing some some entrances down there that are so unique that some of these guys, as soon as they get called to the main roster, are going to be separated automatically from the rest of the roster. Yeah. Something that they never did back in the development. Back in the development, like they just gave like some random character a name, like I don't know. John C. always made fun of the prototype. The prototype. I mean, clearly you're not going to main event any WrestleManias with that name. Yeah. But that shows you how far development has come. And that's let's give Triple H credit here. This is all pretty much on his back here. This was so. I mean, and God, if Husky Harris was the actual name, instead of Bray Wyatt, he would not even be facing John Cena in a one-on-one contest probably. But no, I mean, originally I thought Tyler Breeze had the best entrance. I mean, he comes down and he takes a selfie of himself while he's walking to the ring. I mean, it's not original and unique, but it's great. I haven't seen Aiden English yet, but supposedly his is popular too. He sings his theme song as he walks down to the ring. Oh, goodness. And it gets to the point where he sings, I think he even sings like other people's songs too as he walks down the ring as well. And NXT crowd, I think, likes him so much. He's a heel that they even like say like one more time. But Adam Rose takes the cake. And it's actually funny. I actually got a chance to actually see his promo or his video package they cut before his debut. Yeah. Like I said, it's essentially all these dancers. You see him like just sitting on this couch. And he's kind of like admiring this one guy who's like doing tricks. Because everything. And supposedly his character is based off of Russell Brand characters from Saving Sarah Saving Sarah Marshall, which Russell Brand was in. And I think it was Taking the Greek, which was another movie he was in. And which pretty much he plays the same character. He plays like this over the hill rocker in both of those movies there. So here you got Adam Rose.
Not good movies.
Yeah. Well, no. Saving Sarah Marshall was hilarious, sir. But
again, both not good movies.
But it's more funny than Grown Ups too. But anyway, he's sitting there on the couch.
Grown Ups 2 is still better than that movie 43.
But anyway, he's sitting on the couch, and he even sounds like Russell Brand essentially. I mean, he really sounds like Russell Brand when he's talking. Which I don't know how that's going to go over there. But some people might. I don't know that's going to be hampering him when he gets to the main roster.
Copyright infringement.
Well, no, I think he might just be British and he just sounds like Russell Brand. I mean,
I was joking.
But then all of a sudden, his theme song actually plays in the dance. When he actually starts dancing, he's like, "Yeah, this is my song." He starts dancing. But anyway, we get to the entrance then, finally, his actual match. And it starts with this posse that we saw at this dance party, essentially. And they're just dancing in the entrance. All of a sudden, here comes Adam Rose. They're just walking down, like, kind of giving, like, high fives. And then all of a sudden, he just starts dancing. And his group follows him to the ring as he's dancing.
Let's make some noise, come on!
Yeah. And at this point, the crowd is starting to, like, kind of has, like, almost like that Brodus Clay kind of like moment, like, what are we watching here for a second? But
I'll say.
But then he keeps walking. Then he keeps walking down, and he finally gets on the apron, and then he kind of falls over, and they catch him, and he comes like a body surf to the other side of the ring. And then he comes in, and then he has his posse leave, and then he's just kind of dancing in the ring. And as his song ends, the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." Now, when have you heard an entrance get "This is awesome" chant before a match is about to start? Yeah. And actually, he's a pretty good performer there. I mean, he actually was really going smoothly. I mean, so wrestling's the only thing that's going to make happen might be his promos. Although, like I said, I mean, all he sounds like is Russell Brand. So unless you don't like Russell Brand, it shouldn't be a problem here. And that's probably the only reason people hate Russell Brand is because of that accent he has, really. But no, I mean, I think this Adam Rose guy. I mean, I'm just waiting for him to make that Raw, and hopefully they don't screw up his entrance on Raw. Yeah. Because I already saw what they did to Emma, who was also in NXT, and once again showing why she is a great diva performer in that. And also the NXT crowd, which actually respects her entrance of her doing the dance. But that's gonna be interesting too. There too, I think the NXT crowd is almost like an ECW crowd. They're very vocal. Yeah. They're very loud. It's a small area, almost like kind of like an Impact Zone, pretty much. Yeah. Atmosphere. Kind of like TM. But I mean, and also you go to Raw and you have like a lot of these people who maybe don't know what NXT is, and they don't know that these guys actually are very over in NXT. Yeah. And as they get to the main roster, people are just like, I don't know if I want to get behind this.
Well, they also partnered with one of the worst ones to go with. You partnered with the comedic person out of the crew.
Nah, I don't know, man.
Well, if you want somebody to get taken more serious, then you got to partner him with somebody at least with some seriousness to him. We're talking about Santino, who goes like this.
But no, I mean, Emma faced Charlotte, who is Ric Flair's daughter. She's actually a very talented diva too. She's now been coined the dirtiest diva in the game. And after her stunt, after being Emma, faking a leg injury to get the win, you can see cheating doesn't run like too far in the family in the Flair household. Essentially, is how they worded it.
Flair always did low blows.
It wasn't a low blow, Koi. She faked a knee injury and then she hit.
I said Ric Flair always did low blows. Yeah. I did not say, oh no, it passed on the low blows.
Well, I don't know why they passed on. They wouldn't even work in a Divas match anyway, Koi. They don't have balls. But anyway,
well, I didn't say it.
Anyway, I am looking forward to tomorrow's episode of NXT because this is now my new favorite show because of this young talent, this young entertained talent, and just a chance to spot maybe future champions.
Yeah.
Because really, I mean, and this might be another reason why I think people should order the networks because this is a chance for you to actually scout out these guys and maybe get behind people as soon as they debut instead of just giving a dazed look on your face like, who's this person?
Yeah.
I mean, you actually will know what these guys' characters are and what they stand for and who they are, essentially. I mean, obviously, I think Bo Dallas would be the most difficult one because his character is essentially, he's a babyface, but fans hate him.
Yeah.
Like, he calls his fans believers. Clearly a Justin Bieber reference there. But, I mean, that's what he says best. He's essentially the John Cena of NXT. Only he doesn't sell a lot of merchandise, doesn't draw on pay-per-views. So really he's a heel because there's no real purpose to shove him down people's throats. But I don't know how a character that will work in the main roster. It works in NXT because the NXT crowd hates him.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that's going to work in a Raw crowd if they don't even know who Bo Dallas is, first of all. Like, why do we need to hate this guy? So I don't know. I mean, that's my thoughts there on the network. But then I decided to maybe do a quick pay-per-view review.
Right, yep, of Starrcade 1983.
This was, I debated. I didn't know whether to start with Barely Legal 1997, ECW, but they have a very short amount of pay-per-views. I think we can save that later.
Down the road. Yeah.
WWE, you can start WrestleMania 1 and work your way up, but I don't know. I think you got to go WCW to start it off. Especially Stargate 1983 was technically the first pay-per-view event.
Yeah.
Technically, it was on closed circuit, but technically, it was 2 years before WrestleMania 1. So, and you could tell based on some of the stuff that happened here. But so, Stargate 1983 was a massive pay-per-view event, technically closed circuit, but run by NWA. So it wasn't technically WCW yet, but NWA. November 24th, 1983. It was in Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, with an attendance about 15,000. Very small arena in that to have a pay-per-view, but that's how wrestling was back in the day. The main event was Ric Flair taking on Harley Race for the heavyweight championship inside a steel cage or kind of a fence. It wasn't that big of a steel cage, really.
Talking about 1983,
but nonetheless, it was tagged a Flair for the gold. The whole pay-per-view was pretty much surrounded about Ric Flair winning the title back from Harley Race. I mean, looking ahead, because I just finished 1984 Stargate because that's gonna be the next one next week.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, looking ahead, really, Flair is probably the Hulk Hogan of WCW in the beginning so easily. Till Sting maybe comes in, but that's later. But anyway, the first match, commentators were Bob Caudle and Gordon Solie, who, as people might not know, is in the WWE Hall of Fame. He was inducted by Jim Ross. Jim Ross says he is the best commentator ever done. And you kind of see a little bit of Jim Ross and Gordon Solie. He kind of has like some one-liners he throws out there, but he kind of is your basic play-by-play commentator, like Jim Ross says. Yeah. Just, builds kind of emotion. That person.
Straightforward.
Well, he doesn't go that far like Jim Ross does, but actually, the interesting name here was also the interviewer. One of them was Tony Schiavone, who eventually I think would become essentially the voice of WCW down the line. Yeah. But here, just an interviewer, just doing backstage interviews. But the first match for Stargate 1983 was the Assassins 1 and 2 against Rufus R. Jones and Bugsy McGraw.
Totally sounds like awesome names.
Like I said, Quinn, this was the South, so a lot of Southern
8-minute match.
Woo! I mean, here it wasn't a classic But I guess in the 80s, you're not expecting a lot of fancy moves yet.
Yeah.
A lot of hip tosses, actually, early on. I mean, there was literally a lot of hip tosses, but the Assassins were the heels. They had, I think, Paul Jones was their manager. Yeah, they played the basic heel in that, but you had Bugsy McGraw and R. Jones, and I think I had the finish here somewhere. 1 second, Tyler. This is. Oh, yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Wayne is using a Wikipedia page. Shocking.
Yeah, it has more details on it than usual. But, it ends with a Assassin number 1 rolling up McGraw from behind and pinning him. So it was a basic roll up in the end. Cover the tights. Like I said, it wasn't that fancy. I give it 2.5 because I realized I'm watching 1980 wrestling.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it wasn't really that amazing.
1980s.
We then cut to Tony Schiavone. He was in the back. He was actually in the back in the face locker room because back in the day you had a face locker room where the faces hung out, and the heel locker room where the heels hung out. And you see Ric Flair in the back, and he's talking to Ricky Steamboat and Rowdy Piper, and some other guy who didn't even realize wore a mask. He was walking by. I mean, it was just they were talking. So Tony Schiavone was just saying and here they are. We're going to talk to Ric Flair later on tonight, and blah blah blah, and going to the show. The whole night they even were talking to fans. They would kind of do like a mini survey in the crowd, going with essentially saying stuff like, "So who's going to win between Flair and Harley Race?" And all the crowd everybody was saying, "Ric Flair's going to win."
Yeah.
Well, of course he's the baby face. Harley Race is the heel. And back in those days, nobody cheered bad guys. Really, they thought these guys were actually killing each other out there. Next one was actually Next match was Kevin Sullivan and Mark Lewin against Scott McGee and Johnny Weaver in another tag team match. A lot of tag team matches on this pay-per-view.
McGee.
What? Yeah, no, it is McGee.
I said that.
Okay.
And I said McGraw. I'm making fun of it.
Okay.
McGraw McGee.
I mean,
Mickey D.
I mean, Kevin Sullivan actually is I heard his name before. He actually is kind of a legendary wrestler. Not so much for his ability, but the fact that he can play the bad guy so well.
Yeah.
And this match, you can kind of see that. Scotty McGee was easily the fastest guy in the ring, which is probably he was the most entertaining guy. There was a lot of blood though early though. I mean, that's the funny thing about 1983. Apparently, you can hit people with weapons in front of the referee, have them leaking like a faucet, and the bell will not ring.
Oh my God!
So Scott McGee starts leaking like a faucet, essentially, from his forehead. Because blood spots back in the day, Tyler, I mean, they were huge.
Yeah.
And it was like it was edited out. I mean, WWE kind of got that right. When they mean original content, they mean this blood in this pay-per-view. They're going to show the blood. Yeah. So Sullivan and Lewin win. They beat up McGee and Weaver early on. McGee's just looks like he got, he went through war, essentially. Actually, it was probably 2. I didn't think it was as entertaining as the first one. Not to mention, the finish was kind of a cluster. Kind of, I think that's the reason why I lowered it from a 2.5 to a 2. The ending interesting part was this Angelo Mosca guy. He's a special referee later on the night. He was kind of a manager for McGee and Weaver. He comes in and tries to save him. He gets his ass kicked, kind of. And he kind of they kind of, whatever the weapon is, because back in the day, you really couldn't see the weapon. So they just say, it's a foreign object, obviously. So the guy starts stabbing Mosca with this weapon on his shoulder. And they're kind of saying, well, he's the referee. He has to use that shoulder to count. He's going to make the special, the tag team title match later on as the referee. So, I mean, they're kind of adding on drama. They're kind of adding on, okay, this match might not matter. It might be a bunch of low-card guys, but there are implications later on the night, maybe, that play into the later matches. The ones that actually people care about, that actually paid money for. Then we go to the back again with Tony Schiavone. He interviews Harley Race, the heel. And Harley Race, I believe Mick Foley said, has that voice that just scared the hell out of you. I mean, the way he talked would just scare you. And considering the fact that Harley Race I believe he's still alive. Yeah. But he's alive. He's not in the best shape like he was back in the day. But here, Harley Race, he did a promo essentially saying, Rick, I didn't want you to come here tonight, essentially. I hired Hitman. I had a bounty on your head, literally. And I had the Briscoe brothers almost try to end your career, hurt your neck real bad. I know you're still fighting, but I know the next band. I'm going to warn you. You step in that ring, I'm going to hurt that neck. I'm going to break that neck, essentially. So Harley Race is pretty much saying he's going to kill a guy essentially in the ring. Like I said, the guy sounds like a bloody psychopath essentially in this promo. But great heel promo by Harley Race. You can tell why he's a legend. Next up, we have Abdullah the Butcher. Kind of a name everybody recognizes, a Hall of Famer. And Carlos Colon. Name might ring a bell. He is Carlito and Primo's father.
Oh, shocking. Actually, that would be also Epico.
Epico's
the third.
Yep. They kept hyping up that this match was so violent that it was banned in Puerto Rico.
Shocking.
And it's actually only a 4-minute match, which is why I only gave it 2.5. But there was a lot of blood, though. Because almost right off the bat, Abdullah the Butcher pulls out a foreign object and starts beating Carlos Colon over the head with it repeatedly. Once again, apparently, even though I thought this was a normal match, no DQ.
Yeah.
And this is happening right in front of the official's face the whole time. But he was doing that. Carlos Colon's leaking like a faucet. But finally, he steals the weapon from Abdullah. It kind of makes like a quick comeback.
Yeah.
He's beating him also, and Abdullah's bleeding. So there's a lot of blood already in like the first 3 matches already.
Sounds more like ECW than it does WCW.
Well, no, Quay. I mean, that's how you got people involved in the match there. You know, you actually thought these guys were getting their asses kicked in there because they were bleeding from a face in that. I mean, clearly they weren't
hurry this up before it becomes another hour for crying out loud.
Oh, I'm rushing. You stop interrupting me. But I don't know. I mean, it also was. I think somebody interfered and with Carlos Colon, which cost him the match essentially. But anyway, Abdullah pinned him and won. So I don't know. I just started visiting there. Then we went to we went to Angelo Mosca, the guy who got beat up earlier. And Tony Schiavone asked him, "Are you going to be in the match?" And he pretty much said, "Like, look, I'm coming out there." And the whole theme also was kind of that there was kind of this old generation versus new generation matchups. You had like the Briscoes, who were this veteran tag team, against the young guys, Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood. Even his name says Youngblood. So, I mean, the whole thing was kind of like a passing the torch moment, kind of. It felt like the whole night. Even Flair and Harley Race, the whole deal was that Flair he's this young guy, and Harley's almost going to retire. Somebody's got to take over the reins of the championship, essentially. So, I mean, the pro preach, but the Mosca does point says, look, you know, fight. It was okay that you beat me up in that tag team match, but why'd you beat up poor little Scott McGee over here? You know, the kid's only a kid, essentially. You know, and it really upsets me that someone would beat this kid to a bloody pulp, pretty much an inch of his life. I mean, I'm a man, damn it. This kid's, you know, just a kid. He just grew up just got into the business. I'm a veteran. I don't know. It was a kind of emotional promo. Something you don't really see a whole lot today. Yeah. Just kind of, I thought, interesting. Then we got Bob Orton Jr. So Cowboy Bob Orton is here with Dick Slater. It gets Mark Youngblood and Wahoo McDaniel.
Wahoo.
Well, Coy, I should call him Chief Wahoo McDaniel because he is supposedly part Native. He's supposedly
really
American.
With the name Wahoo.
Yeah. Before the match started, I believe it was Gordon Soley that said, "We got 2 Indians here about to face against the Cowboy." 1983. I don't know. I mean, it was a pretty much. It was a pretty good match. I mean, you had Bob Orton Jr. obviously in there. He kind of does a great job with the psychiatry. Granted, he didn't have that cast on him like he did in WrestleMania 1, but. No, I mean, I give it 3. It was easily the best match so far. I mean, but then again, you could start to see in this pay-per-view, the matches got remotely better as you got closer to the main event. But, I mean, 3 stars. I mean, it wasn't really anything great, but it was easily better than what I saw earlier in the night. We then went to Ric Flair, his first promo with Tony Schiavone. I'll be honest, not the best Ric Flair promo. He's not. It's not the usual emotional Flair one. It's not the usual. Well, obviously he's a bayface, so you're not gonna get the heel one where he's like talking about his dollars and his planes and his Rolexes and that. He's pretty much playing this babyface that's the hometown hero essentially. So pretty much, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just not used to Ric Flair playing this hometown hero kind of guy. I'm used to being this villain. So it wasn't the best Ric Flair promo, but that's just my opinion. Like I said, all this is subjective here. Yeah. But so there was that. Then we got to Charlie Brown against the Great Kabuki for the NWA Television Championship. It was title versus mask. The Great Kabuki kind of did like a Great Muta Tajiri thing. he kind of spit green mist out before he
Yeah.
began the match. Charlie Brown is the most interesting character ever. He's this Southern wrestler that wears a mask. They call him Downtown Charlie Brown also. But he has like this amazing long, like Santa-like Duck Dynasty beard though. So he has this luchador mask and this long beard. But apparently he's Johnny Valiant. But he's wearing a different gimmick though, because apparently Johnny Valiant like is injured or something. That's what I'm saying. But apparently this is him wearing the mask, and apparently he's putting his mask up for grabs against the Great Kabuki or something, who's the NWA Television Champion. I mean, it was a good match. I mean, the Great Kabuki was showing that Japanese style,
Yeah.
because he's a Japanese wrestler. I mean, which of course I'm sure some of the other guys was just like, wow, this is amazing. But I don't know. I gave it 3 stars. I mean, obviously, I think the extra star was due to the fact that Charlie Brown just looked like the most random wrestler I ever saw in my life. But he wins over the Great Kabuki. He wins the NWA Television Championship. We then go to an interview with Dusty Rhodes. Not by Tony Schiavone. It's in the crowd though. The funniest thing though about this was that this is when the audio started to go out slightly a bit.
Oh, yeah.
I said this is their first
Right.
kind of pay-per-view ever done by a promotion.
Right.
So
What is going on back
they're
there?
gonna have bugs in it. So Rhodes, you'd hear Rhodes, and then the mic would cut off. Then you hear Rhodes again, the mic cut off. Finally, Gordon Soley says, "Well, people who can read Rhodes' mouth knows what he's saying." So we was ended with that. But yeah, Dusty Rhodes is cutting this promo because supposedly he's gonna face the winner of Ric Flair and Harley Race supposedly at next year's Stargate for the NWA Championship. So he's there as a spectator to see his next opponent essentially. So he's pretty just like talking about how he's the carrier is, he's going to win because he's already a 2-time champion. He's going to be a 3-time world champion soon. But I just thought it was hilarious that the mic kept cutting out. But so we finally got to the match I was looking forward to because Roddy Piper keeps talking about this match. Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine, who is the NWA United States champion. Why the belt was not up for grabs in this match, I don't know. But it's a dog collar match, and it is what it is. They strapped a dog collar to both of their necks with a long chain connected, and it was a no DQ match, and they could hit each other with the chain or whatever. And
What do you think it was gonna be?
Well,
They don't lie about that crap back then.
yeah.
Other than the fact that steel cage was a fan.
No, but I mean, I usually never been a fan of strap matches because they're stupid. But
This is a metal chain though. This ain't a strap.
exactly, and Roddy Piper and Greg Valentine were hitting the hell out of each other with that metal chain. So much blood in this match. I mean, and they were going outside the ring, kind of almost over the barricade. I mean, it just got very, very violent very fast. That's why I gave it 4 stars. The funny thing was though, after Roddy Piper won, I guess going solely, and I thought that he won a U.S. title as well, and I'm like. But I didn't think it was a title match, though.
Yeah.
If I said, correction, folks, it's not for the U.S. title. Roddy Piper, though, does just win the match, though. Congratulations to him. But then we get Ricky the Dragon. Well, not the Dragon yet. That was his WWE gimmick. So we just got plain Ricky Steamboat here with Jay Youngblood, who actually is the brother of Mark Youngblood, who teamed with Wahoo McDaniel earlier. They are actual brothers. Taking on the Briscoe brothers, Jack and Jerry. Of course, one of them ends up working for Vince in the end, as one of the Stooges do. For the NWA World Title Championship with Angelo Mosca as a special guest referee. I mean, like I said, you had guys like Youngblood and Steamboat who kind of moved, and Steamboat already looked like he was years ahead of what the Briscoes were as far as that goes. Quick in the ring, athletic ability. He was hitting moves that no one ever hit. Like it would be a basic suplex, but the way he would do it it looked so much better than what we saw earlier in the night, which you could tell why this guy was so over with the crowd. Essentially, he was way more entertaining. But I mean, in the end, Angelo Mosca, I think kind of screwed because he's the babyface special referee. Kind of I think screws the Briscoes out of the belt. But anyway, Steamboat and Youngblood I gave it 3.5 because Steamboat and Youngblood actually put on some very good performances. The Briscoes did a great job, kind of like how the Outlaws are doing now. They're kind of old. They can't do a lot of big moves like they used to do. But they kind of have that psychiatry down about how to work a basic tag team match. Or at least a great tag team match. So finally we got a final interview with Dusty Rhodes. and he was surrounded by like 4 Ric Flair fans essentially, and the same announcer essentially asked him, "So who's going to win the main event again?" And everybody says, of course, Ric Flair, and Dusty Rhodes like, "Well, there you go." But he said, but pretty much Dusty just said something of the lines of, "Okay, well, I still don't care though. I'm going to face either Flair or Harley Race, and they better watch out because the American Dream's coming for that belt essentially." Then we had like a highlight of earlier tonight because I think it was like a 15-20 minute intermission. The main reason I think was because they had to set the cage because it's not like they lower it like they now do now. They had to actually have people come out there holding each a set, then setting them up on the ring, and that usually took a while.
Yeah.
But funny thing was though is that before the main event starts, we get the national anthem to play. I didn't know you played national anthems before a main event match. When you had 7 matches going before that, but they had the national anthem. It was sung by some country singer. I didn't know who the hell he was, but it was some random country singer. Then the Ric Flair theme plays. That's the other thing too. There were no entrances in the first 7 matches. They just went cut back to the ring, and all the performers were already in the ring already on both sides. But you hear Flair's usual entrance theme, but Flair doesn't come out. Then the lights are out. Then you see this kind of cheap pyro pop off because it's like a small arena, so you're not gonna have a like massive pyro explosion, just one kind of mini pyro. And then here comes Ric Flair with no theme because it just wrapped up, and he just walks down the ring. And the way they walk down the ring too is it's not like it's an entrance ramp in the Coliseum, so and it's like no really guardrails to separate you from the fans. So it's like Flair's surrounded by like 4 police officers to keep a fan from striking him on the way to the ring.
Right.
But Flair comes in. He's over. This is clearly why North Carolina is known as Flair Country. The whole crowd was pro Flair. Then Harley Race comes down, no theme, just walks down, gets massive boos because he's facing Ric Flair, the homeboy, essentially.
Right.
Actually, a very entertaining match. You had your usual Flair chops. Not a lot of woos though. I mean, not even when he did hit the chop, you didn't hear like fans shout woo or anything. But you had the usual Flair chops. I mean, it was a pretty basic steel cage match. This referee they had though was kind of getting very physical with both competitors. Like they were breaking a hold. The referee would actually like grab like Ric Flair's nose, actually like rip it up so he would break the hold. Like no referee would ever do that to the WWE. Kind of wish they would though, make him come kind of more tough and assertive like they are because they are the official. But anyway, it ends on all things Ric Flair hitting a crossbody on Harley Race. Not the best crossbody either because it's Ric Flair still. But he hits a crossbody 3 count. Flair wins. The whole face locker room comes out, celebrates with Flair. It's like his second world title win in his career. His wife comes in. Might be his first wife. I don't know.
Research it.
But his wife comes in. They hug. Dusty Rhodes. They go to the back where Flair is celebrating. He's kind of like, drinking champagne, or at least that's what we believe he's drinking. Probably is. It is the Nature Boy. But then it ends with Dusty Rhodes coming in and he says, "Hey, help a match, Flair." And at this point, Flair still has like blood coming out of his forehead too.
Yeah.
But Dusty kind of saying like, "Help a match," but hey, next year it's you and me, and I'm coming for that belt essentially. And they shake hands, and that's how the pay-per-view essentially closes. They sign off, and that's the first Stargate, 1983. Technically the first pay-per-view in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah. So there we go. That's interesting history right there.
Yeah. So
first pay-per-view ever,
that's the first one. Next week will be Stargate 84. Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair for $1 million and the NWA World Championship. And Smoking Joe Frazier, the boxer, will be the guest referee for that match. But I think 84 was a lot more entertaining than 83. Because I think, as you know, Roddy Piper, there's so many WWE guys that are not going to be on this match card next year due to a lot of reasons. But no, I mean, so that was 83. Obviously, it was your pretty basic one. And it was a success for its time. I don't want to say Vince took the idea from Mania. This was because the way the NWA did matches, it wasn't so much character based. At least. I should say that because next week you're gonna have like a Russian team coming to the Russian national anthem, both play things. But anyway, no, I mean, I think it's part of wrestling history.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the one I'm looking most forward to in Stargates back in the day, but I mean, I would say it was a bad pay-per-view, but it was different,
especially for its time.
Yeah, a lot of different stuff than what you would see today.
Right.
Like I said, from more aggressive referees, to no entrances, to no entrance music, to not a whole lot of jumping off the top rope and doing crazy moves. I mean,
Yeah.
just completely different all around, Tyler.
Right.
But I think still entertaining.
Right. All right. So yeah, that's that, and I guess that's the great wrestling debate for today.
Gonna wish
Next-
Corey goodbye. I mean,
yeah, that's
start next
true.
week.
Sure, I'm gonna die.
For a couple,
Coming-
Tell
for a
everybody
couple
I'm
months
dying.
probably.
Yep.
As he'll be up at Kutztown. So it'll be back to a
two-man show. Yeah.
2-person panel, but nevertheless, that'll do it for the Great Wrestling Debate today as we continue to move closer to WrestleMania and reviewing these pay-per-views and things that are coming out of the new WWE network.
Go Mudheads.
So that'll wrap things up. Stay tuned as always, and thanks for tuning in.